AutoZam, 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 AutoZam.
AZ1, what are you, AZ1? What are you, AZ1? What the hell is this?
1992 Mazda AutoZam AZ1. Run your finger along the underside of my hipster dick. It's an AutoZam. Squish my face like a Shiba Inu and tight pants walk into that tea house that just opened on Penn Avenue. It's an AutoZam. You washed up, Miata? There's a new car in town to make girls go, "Aww." What'd you do? Put a bigger turbo on a cappuccino, David? Whatever. I'm in an AutoZam, and for the moment, I'm cooler. What's it like to have a girlfriend? This is a two-seat, gull-wing, Japan-only K-car running on a Suzuki 3-cylinder turbocharged fuel injection 660cc engine connected to a Ridge Racer-feeling 5-speed manual transmission, 62 horsepower. Look at how small this is. That's an AutoZam AZ1 parked next to a Subaru Forester and a Volkswagen Trigun, what have you. You know how there are people who care so little about cars they won't even look at a classic Mustang? Well, they'll look at AutoZams. This film shoot was challenging because interruptions from looky-loos were accurate and dependable on the 8s. What is that? Is that a real car? What is that? Are you allowed to drive that on the street? What is that? And then at one point we had to turn around in this parking lot of this little like video game company or something. And everybody there was coming out on break because it was noon, it was lunchtime, and every single person at that game company knew what this was. By the time this video is out, this AZ1 has already been sold on Bring a Trailer for $16,000 on November 13th. Our American dollars are driving up AZ1 prices now that they're becoming legal in the United States. So what do you get for $16,000? You get to drive in your socks because the pedals are the size of matchbooks and closer together than brazen PDA couples. Ugh. You don't get a glove box. You get a bag that's bolted to the rear firewall. You do get air conditioning though, and that works. And you're going to use it because the gull-wing doors don't allow the windows to go all the way down, so you have DeLorean-style windows in windows that aren't very big. AutoZam isn't safe. You're small, and you're low, and you hide entirely within the side blind spot of other cars' B-pillars. Please see me, don't hit me. Please see me, don't hit me. I can't see sideways. My yank body is too big to turn, nothing is comfortable, I'm slouched way down so the GoPro can give you a view, but the seat doesn't recline. So this point of view that you're seeing is an accurate experience for you. 1992 AutoZam AZ1 is the product of a random alliance. It was designed and produced by Suzuki, but sold by Mazda under their AutoZam brand name. Basically, Mazda decided they wanted a separate brand for all their K-cars and small mid-engine passion projects. This was the late 1980s and cocaine was still bigger than Major League Baseball, so here we are. The AutoZam AZ1, a car that is essentially like the kind of friends you have when you're 12 and then never have again in life. Unflinchingly loyal, always up for an adventure as you discover the world and learn your own limitations. It shares a platform with the Mazda AZ550 and the Suzuki Kara, but was rivals with the Suzuki Cappuccino and a Honda Beat. It's smaller than a Cappuccino and more hip, and so they might as well call this car the AutoZam Macchiato. And yet, while it didn't come out until 1992, the idea for it had been kicking around since 1985, when Suzuki was looking into crafting a small mid-range car that inevitably became the Cappuccino Roadster. The concept bounced around between Suzuki and Mazda until Mazda later designed 3 prototypes for the 1989 Tokyo Motor Show. The Type A, with pop-up headlights, a front air vent, side strakes inspired by the Ferrari Testarossa, and gull-wing doors. The Type B sports car with a greenhouse pyramid roof and no rear sweep to the C-pillar. And the Type C prototype, which was modeled after Mazda's Group C sports prototype racers. That model featured a larger air intake, wing mirrors, and BBS-style brake cooling wheel discs. And while journalists in attendance for the reveal at the 1989 Tokyo Motor Show reacted best to the racing-inspired Type C, Mazda eventually decided to go with the Type A in the hopes of appealing to a trendier demographic. This, despite making significant changes to the design over the 3 years between the first prototype unveiling and the release of the AZ1 itself, such as making the dashboard design less futuristic, altering the front air design, and removing pop-up headlights. Still, Mazda had the right idea by separating this from the rest of its brand, since it was mostly an attempt at selective marketing. Selective marketing reduces costs by concentrating advertising on a specific demographic rather than taking a broad indirect approach. The positive is that there's likely to be a higher return on your advertising investment because you're aiming your big marketing guns directly at the consumers you want. The negative, of course, is that you're putting all your eggs in one basket. It's like when NBC canceled Harry's Law despite doing amazing ratings with old people. But NBC didn't want old people, and they were never going to get younger viewers with a show like Harry's Law. So they just pulled the plug rather than sink any more money into it. In the same way, AutoZam was an all-or-nothing gamble. And while it didn't work from a business standpoint, it wasn't actually Mazda's fault. The Japanese asset price bubble that hit in the late 80s and burst in the early 90s put that to bed, as excessive credit expansion and uncontrolled money supply set asset and stock prices skyrocketing. Mazda stuck with the AZ1 throughout 1995 anyway, but the economic depression sweeping through the country made it difficult to justify spending money on targeting a demographic that didn't seem particularly interested in the AZ1. And it didn't exactly appeal to the business class either. It's a car that seemed designed to appeal to those who could never have it. People like us Yanks, who put cars on trailers and take them to places to be admired before putting them back on trailers and back into garages or selling them to someone else who keeps the cycle going. No judgment, of course. That's kind of what a subsection of car culture has become. The display, the admiration, and then the redistribution of rarities. So why not go after a rarity like the AZ1? They're rare enough that if you get one, you're going to be the apple of every eye at a car show. Sure, makes less than 100 horsepower and it's smaller than a DC movie's profit margins, but when you have something this distinct, this unique, you don't really have to try. It's like being a fat guy who could still take old One Eye to the optometrist, because the worst thing that can happen to you when you're overweight is learning you can still get laid anyway. Mazda AutoZam AZ1. I'm so fragile, but mother's milk, I'm so cool. I'm Alphys nerding out in this. You want a new air cleaner? $70, because there are no parts here in the United States. Everything has to come from Japan, and we just can't buy parts on eBay. You have to go through a broker to get to Japan eBay, and that broker is going to take a cut. But if you can ignore the shoebox interior and the low roof and the bro-dozers in your rearview mirror ready to vor you, it's fun. Your sensation of speed is amplified to the point where the metric speedometer feels accurate in miles an hour. 80 kilometers an hour feels like 80 miles an hour. And the coarse cheese grater engine clattering away 1 feet 6 inches behind your back is all you hear. Which doesn't sound all that great, by the way. Triumph can make a 660cc 3-cylinder engine sound pleasing. Suzuki, but the blow-off valve is entertaining because you're always spooling it and venting it and spooling it and venting it and spooling it and venting it and spooling it. Oh, it's so great. I'm so popular. But I'm popular now. I'm popular now in 2017. I'll be popular in 2018. But am I going to be popular in 2019 when more of these start appearing? What is cool? Got no personality? Buy an AutoZam. Then you'll be cool. It's well worn, but money can't buy popularity, but it can rent it. And right now, the AutoZam AZ1 is so cool in America. I mean, it's Britney Spears' 1999 It. This is the car. But the one thing that I just can't shake is that your love is fading. $16,000 for one of these. I mean, the only thing that I think is like close in like price humping is the Chevrolet SS, you know, the American Holden Commodore. I mean, they were when they were offering those rebates because Chevy couldn't sell those things. Blah blah blah. We should be talking about the AutoZam, but the prices are just nuts in the used markets with Chevy SSs, and the prices are going to be equally crazy with these things because there's going to be one guy at the car show with an AZ1, and everybody's going to look at it, and everybody wants to be that guy. And the amount that you have to sacrifice to be cool. I mean, for Americans, I'm 5'10". I'm too tall. It's not fun to drive for me. I mean, it's fun to be around. It's fun to look at. It's fun to revel in the popularity and the attention and the admiration of everybody who comes around. I mean, park this. This is way cooler than any Ferrari. It might be the coolest car in the United States right now. And that costs money. What is hip? What is cool? Do I want one? Yeah. Am I gonna? No. You really have to want one of these things. I mean, if you're shorter of stature, it's gonna work for you. I mean, there you can just drive it. Fuel economy, what? I think it does all right. Like 34? That's pretty good for a turbocharged engine. Well, anyway, the people who like them are gonna ignore everything I have to say and just hump this car into heaven. And the rest of us are just gonna go and think of the long-term investments of these things. AutoZam AZ1. Quite a conundrum. But man, is it cool. Later.
AZ1, what are you, AZ1? What are you, AZ1? What the hell is this? AZ1, I want you, AZ1. I need you, AZ1. Be my Christmas gift. But I can't have you all to myself. So I guess I'll have to live with you being with somebody else.